The Aeneid Vergil Book 2, Part 1. The room fell silent, and all eyes were on him as Father Aeneas from his high couch began. Sorrow too deep to tell, your Majesty. You ordered me to feel and tell once more how the Danaans leveled in the dust the splendor of our murmured forever kingdom. Heartbreaking things I saw with my own eyes and was myself a part of. Who could tell them, even a Myrmidon or Dolopian or Ruffian of Ulysses without tears? Now, too, the night is well along, with dewful out of heaven and setting stars way down our heads towards sleep. But if so great desire moves you to hear the tale of our disasters briefly recalled, the final throes of Troy, however I may shudder at the memory and shrink again in grief, let me begin. Knowing their strength broken in warfare, turned back by the fates, and years, so many years, already slipped away, the Dan captains by the divine handicraft of Pallas built a horse of timber, tall as a hill, and sheathed its rib with planking of cut pine. This they gave out to be an offering for a safe return by sea, and the word went round, but on the sly they shut inside a company chosen from the pickled soldiery by lot, crowding the vaulted caverns in the dark, the horse's belly, with men fully armed. Offshore there's a long island, Tenedos, famous and rich, while Priam's kingdom lasted, a treacherous anchorage now, and nothing more. They crossed to this and hid their ships behind it on the bare shore behind. We thought they'd gone sailing home to Mycenae before the wind, so Tyser's town is freed of her long anguish, gates thrown wide, and out we go in joy to see the Dorian campsites all deserted. The beach they left behind, here the Dolapians pitched their tents, here cruel Achilles lodged. There lay the ships, and there, formed up in ranks, they came inland to fight us. Of our men, one group stood marveling, gaping up to see the dire gift of the cold, unbeaded goddess, the chair mass of the horse. Thymoetes shouts, it should be hauled inside the walls and moored, high on the citadel, whether by treason or just because Troy's fate went that way now. Capys opposed him, so did the wiser heads. Into the sea with it, they said, or burn it. Build up a bonfire under it, the trick of the Greeks, a gift no one can trust, or cut it up open. Search the hollow belly. Contrary notions pulled the crowd apart. Next thing we knew, in front of everyone, Lacoon with a great company came furiously running from the height, and still far off cried out, "O my poor people, men of Troy, what madness has come over you? Can you believe the enemy truly gone? A gift from the Danaans and no ruse. Is that Ulysses' way, as you have known him? Archaeans must be hiding in this timber, or it was built to butt against our walls, peer over them into our houses, pelt the city from the sky. Some crookedness is in this thing. Have no faith in the horse. Whatever it is, even the Greeks bring gifts. I fear them, gifts and all. He broke of them, the rifled his big spear and rifled his big spear with all his might against the horse's flank. The curve of belly it stuck there trembling, and the rounded hall reverberated groaning at the blow. If the gods' will had not been sinister, if our own minds had not been crazed, he would have made us fool this Argive then with bloody steel, and Troy would stand today. O citadel of Priam, towering still. But now look, Hillmen, shepherds of Dardania, raising a shout, dragged in before the king an unknown fellow with hands tied behind. This all as he himself had planned, volunteering letting them come across him so he could open Troy to the Achaeans. Sure of him, this man was braced for it either way, to work his trick or die. From every quarter, Trojans run to see him, ring the prisoner round, and make a game of jeering at him. Be instructed now in Greek deceptive arts. One barefaced deed can tell you of them all. As the man stood there shaken and defenseless, looking around at ranks of Pygians, "O God," he said, "what land on earth, what sea can take me in? What's left me in the end? Outcast that I am from the Danans. Now the Dardanians will have my blood." The whimpering speech brought us up short. We felt the twinged from him. "Let him speak up," we said. "Tell us where he was born, what news he brought, what he could hope for as a prisoner." Taking his time, slow to discard his fright, he said, "I'll tell you the whole truth, my lord, no matter what might come of it. Argive I am by birth, and will not say I am not. That first of all, fortune has made a derelict of Sinon, but the bitch won't make an empty liar of him too. Report of Palmades may have reached you, scion of Bilas' line, a famous man who gave commands against the war for this. On a trumped up charge, on perjury testimony, the Greeks put him to death. But now they mourned him. Now he has lost the light. Being kin to him in my first years, I joined him as companion, sent by my poor old father on this campaign, and while he held rank high and influence in royal councils, we did well with honor then. By the guile and envy of Ulysses, nothing unheard of there. He left this world, and I live on, but under a cloud in sorrow raging for my blameless friend's downfall. Demented too, I could not hold my peace, but said, if I had luck, if I won't through again to Argos, I'd avenge him there. And I rousted hatred with my talk. I fell a fool now of that man. From that time on, day in, day out, Ulysses found new ways to bait and terrify me, putting out shady rumors among the troops, looking for weapons he could use against me. He could not rest till Calchas served him a turn. But why go on? The tale's unwelcome, useless, if Archaeans are all one. And it's enough I'm called Archaean, then exact the punishment long overdue. The Ithacan desires it, the Atridae would pay well for it. Burning with curiosity, we questioned him, called on him to explain, unable to conceive such a performance. The art of the Pelasgian, he went on, trembled as though he feared us. Many times the Danans wished to organize retreat to leave Troy and the long war. Tired out, if only they had done it. Heavy weather at sea closed down on them, or a fresh gale from the southwest and keep them from embarking. Most of all, after this future figure here, this horse they put together with maple beams reached its full height. Then wind and thunderstorms rubbled in heaven. So in a quadrenary we sent Euprylus to Phobos' oracle, and he brought back this grim reply: "Blood and a virgin slain, you give to appease the winds for your first voyage, Troyward, O Danans. Blood again, and archive blood, one life wins your return." When this got round among the soldiers, gloom came over them, and a cold chill that ran to the very marrow. To the very marrow. Who had death in store? Whom did Apollo call for? Now the man of Ithaca hailed Calchas out among us in tumult, calling on the seer to tell the true will of the gods. Ah, there were many able to divine the crookedness and cruelty afoot for me, but they looked on in silence for 10 days. The seer kept still, kept under cover, would not speak of anyone or name a man for death, till driven to it at last by Ulysses' cries, by prearrangement, he broke silence barely enough to designate me for the altar. Even last men agreed that the torments each had feared him for himself now shifted to another, all could endure. And the infamous day came, the ritual, the salted meal, the fillets. I broke free, I confess it, broke my chains, hid myself all night in a muddy mash, concealed the reeds, waiting for them to sail, if they were gone too. Now no hope is left for me of seeing my home country ever again, my sweet children my father missed for years. Perhaps the army will demand they pay for my escape, my crime here, and their death, poor things, will be my punishment. Ah, sir, I beg you, by the gods above, the powers in whom truth lives, and by what faith remains uncontaminated to men, take pity, O pain so great and so unmerited. For tears we give him life, and pity too. Priam himself ordered the gyves removed and the tie chain between in kindness. Then he said to him, whoever you may be, the Greeks are gone. Forget them from now on. You shall be ours. And answer me these questions. Who put this huge thing up, this horse? Who designed it? What do they want with it? Is it religious or a means of war? These were his questions. Then the captive, trained in trickery, in the stagecraft of Archaea, lifted his hands, unfettered to the stars.